Hey everyone, it is a few days out from Christmas and it's time to finish up my last few things. I have my Santa mug here. I'm gonna get some crafting done and finish up the last few Christmas items. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a little Christmas box, and I found this design that's so cute. This is the underside. How sweet is this? Just a basic box, and then the top has a little window in it, and I think it's really fun. Now, if you wanted a windowless box, then you would simply just cut two of these and put them together. So I went ahead and used my Cricut to cut these out, and now I'm just going to assemble this. I also, for the window, because this is, hollow, right? There's nothing holding it there. I have some acetate that I'm going to put on the inside. So let me grab an acetate sheet really quickly. Just grab one of these, and before we assemble the box, I want to glue that sheet on the inside. So I don't think I have any scrap pieces, so I'll just grab what I can. Grab one of these, and let's just trim this down just a hair. Let's see, so something like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna use some liquid glue, and I'm going to attach the acetate sheet there. Okay, so using this liquid glue, I'm going to just go around this little opening here and create a little window. And then you can mix and match anything that you want. I love the idea of pairing this side with more of a solid, because then you can see the shape very clearly, and there's the window. So I like the idea, if you're going to do a solid, to do it on this. I also like the idea, if you wanted to incorporate a pattern, then do it on the underside or the box side, not the lid. You could do the pattern on the lid if you want. I just think it would be too busy. And when you do a solid, you see that shape clear as day. So I really like that. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention is I was expecting my Cricut to score the lines where you fold, but what it did, and it's so hard to see, actually, you know what? You can see perfectly on this one. What it did is, instead of asking for a scoring tool, let's see if you can see it on this side better, it actually cut little dash lines in the paper. Do you see? There we go. You see these dash lines in the paper? So I started freaking out, thinking my Cricut is not doing what I wanted it to do. But instead of having the score tool be installed and having this line be a score line, it just had it be a dash cut, which is going to do the same thing. So I wanted you to be aware of that. That way you know what your Cricut is doing. And that's actually helpful for those who do not have the scoring tool. Then all you need is your cutting blade. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, and on all of those cut lines, I'm simply going to fold. This makes it so easy because it's all done for you. You don't have to guess where to fold. Just wherever there's a dashed line, you're going to fold there. Okay, then what I'll do is on these little flaps, I'm going to add a little glue on the back side. Same over here. Add a little glue on the back side. And then we'll lift these up, have these meet and press down. And this glue dries super fast. I'll link it down below. I use it for all of my paper crafting and card making because it's essentially instant dry. It's wonderful. Okay, I'll do that on the other side. How cute are these? And they're so easy. So easy to make. You could even, have your Cricut pen draw on the front if you wanted to do a little to from. That would be super cute as well. Okay. There we go. And there. Okay, so I have my lid all ready to go. Okay, so there's the lid with the window. And then I'll go ahead and if you wanted to, cover this up, you could do that. I'm not too worried about it. It's the inside. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with this. So exact same process. I think this feels, or looks to be, yes, it's a little bit deeper. So the underside of the box is a little bit deeper, which is nice because you'll still get some of that pattern once the lid goes on. The lid won't cover it completely. Okay, so we'll fold all of our lines, and then let's go ahead and add our glue on the little flaps. Another way that is super easy to do this is if you add the glue on the flaps, and you bring these up, you can do something like this where you press it down into the mat, which is kind of helpful too. Go. All right, and then I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So easy peasy. You can make such a fun variety of these because you can change up the paper that you use, the patterns that you use. Again, I think design-wise, whoops, glue all over me. I think design-wise, the pattern on the bottom of the box is a little bit better, but you can do whatever you wish. Okay, make sure that one works. That side. There's the bottom of our box, and then simply going to put the top on. So you get a little bit of that pattern on the side because the bottom box is a little bit taller. Isn't that cute? I love that. Okay, so you could do a lot of fun things with this, but just as an example, I had a bunch of candy canes in here, or in my craft room, but you could fill it with candy canes, and whatever is under there, you can see through. So very cute. I love this idea. Again, you can get really creative with your patterns and make a variety of boxes. So I'll be sure to link the paper that I used as well as the design. That way you can go buy that design if you'd like to do this as well. Very fun. Okay, so as all mamas know, they usually do a spirit week on the last week of school before Christmas break, and tomorrow is Christmas sweater day, so I need to get some Christmas sweaters made. And I went through my craft room because I'm trying to shop my craft space. And in fact, I'm going to be doing a lot of that in 2025, where we're going to get rid of a lot of things, which is going to be really exciting. My purging heart. I love to purge. I love to purge. I'm really excited for that personal project. Okay, so I went through my patches. I have a lot of patches, and luckily I was able to find some that spelled jolly and merry. And then I went ahead and found a white and red sweatshirt that they can wear. I had to buy those, but we're gonna go ahead and get these all placed on. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm gonna take these over to my heat press, and I'm gonna pre-press the shirt just to make sure it's ready to go, it's all ironed out, and then I'll place my patches right on there. I think I'll also cover them with some butcher paper. That way the patch itself is protected from the heat source, and we'll just get these ironed on. Now, one thing that I also like to do is after I press the patches on, I like to turn it inside out and then press again, because then, like, say I put the patch here, but then you are pressing closer to that adhesive and just making sure that it is all really laid down. So I'm going to do both of those things, but I'll also lint roll as well to make sure there's nothing on the sweatshirt that's going to prevent my little patches from sticking down. Okay, let's go ahead and get these all made. These are going to turn out so cute. All right, so both sweatshirts are done. Aren't those cute? I wish I would have made one for myself. We did a really fun cookie exchange with our small group last night, and this would have been so fun to wear to it. So maybe next year for sure, but very cute, very easy. I'll link the patches. They come in a big pack. So like I said, I did some earlier projects this year with some, and luckily, thank you, Jesus, I was able to get the right letters and go ahead and use a lot of those and use them up and be able to spell stuff that is so perfect for Christmas. So I love that. Okay, another thing done. And now let's see, I am going to do a reverse canvas. Yes, I'm going to do a reverse canvas. If you've never done a reverse canvas, this is your sign that you need to do one. They are one of my favorite, if not my favorite things to do. They're so fun and they make such a difference when you reconstruct them. So this is just a regular canvas. I found this at Target. They had an 8 or 10 pack that I recently hauled, and I'm excited to see what type of frame is underneath because I don't know that I've used one of their canvases yet, but you can pick a canvas up at any craft store. One thing you're just going to want to be aware of is you're going to want to make sure that the frame underneath is something usable. And I'll show you that in a minute. So right now I'm just taking a craft knife and I'm scoring on the outside of the staple. Don't score on the inside. That's not going to do anything because it's still going to hold the fabric with the staple. But on the outside, we are going to free the canvas from the frame. Okay. And don't worry about scoring into your frame. It's the back side, so it doesn't matter at all. And you might have to score a little deeper on the edges because that has some folded canvas there, so it's a little bit thicker to cut through. Okay, so now once you do that, and again, keep your craft knife handy so that you can continue to cut if you need to. Again, those corners are going to be where you're going to probably need to retrim a little bit. But we're going to free the canvas from this frame because underneath here is a really nice frame. Now, again, sometimes the frame underneath is not nice. Sometimes they use staples to hold it together. I think this one, oh, it's pretty. Okay, they have tiny little staples in the corners, but actually I think it's kind of fun to add some texture there. So I'm not too mad about that. All right, so you'll just want to be mindful of the frames that you use or the canvases you use. Okay, so we have this piece now. This is our canvas. We're going to use this. This is where we're going to put our design. But before we do that, let's just clean this up a little bit. You can take it a step further and actually remove the staples, but we are going to end up covering this back up with the canvas. So if you don't want to take that step, don't worry about it because we're going to cover it up. And honestly, I don't take the time to do it. I think when I first started, I did, but they're really difficult to remove. And it doesn't truly matter because you're not going to see them. Okay, so just ripping this canvas away, and these little scraps can go into the garbage. Okay, so getting all of these little pieces off. I'm just making sure, especially anything that's going to hang over the side, I want to make sure that those are nice and trimmed away. That way they don't peek over. Okay, that should be good. All right, there we go. So there is our frame. Okay, sometimes, now these have tiny little staples. Most of the time, you won't see anything here, like they're just glued or something, or the staple that is assembling it is on the back. Sometimes though, a company will do like big staples. That's why I'm saying I don't mind this because I know it can be much worse. Okay, so I'm gonna put that to the side. That's our frame. I'm going to clean this up, and now I'm going to take some iron-on. This is just some heat transfer vinyl, and I went ahead and cut a design on here. So I just need to weed this out because then we are going to iron it onto our canvas. So I'm just taking my weeding tool, and I will just start weeding out the background. This is a really pretty yet simple design. I liked how it looked really classic. It's just a Merry Christmas sentiment, but I liked the classic look of it. And I decided to do it in a navy. I thought the navy would be really pretty with the natural wood. So I'm looking at both of them together. I think I'm right. Okay, so I'll start weeding this out and then we'll iron it on. So let me know how you're doing. We are, let's see, this video will probably be live on Saturday, so that will be, gosh, just a handful of days until Christmas. How are you holding up? I have had a very peaceful Christmas this year, which I'm very excited about. I was able to do a lot of my prep early this year, and then our church did an Advent study, which was wonderful because it just helped me make room for the things that are truly important. Make room for studying, and just, it was wonderful. I'm encouraging myself to do that again next year. Just get some things done early so that by the time the season arrives, I can focus on what truly matters, which was just very nice and brought a lot of peace this year. Okay, I think one of these snowflakes I kind of almost mangled, but we can fix that. Okay, and then, because I know some might ask, the study that we did was by Ruth Chow Simmons. I have never done anything by her up until now, and she does a variety of fun things, but she's also an artist and she does beautiful watercolor. I'm trying to remember what the study is. I'll try to link it down below. It was super, super fun and nice. We really enjoyed it. And I'm finishing it up right now because it goes all the way up until Christmas Day. So I have a few more days to go, but it was just really beautiful. Plus her artwork is stunning. Okay, this is also your sign to go a little slow and careful because I can see that I tore off a little arm of my snowflake over here, but that's okay. It still will be a very pretty piece of art and just a little unique snowflake, right? We got our first big snowfall, our first big one. I feel like we had a sprinkling a couple weeks back, but our first big one was this week. It's since melted away, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it was enough to build a snowman, which was wonderful. And I'm hoping that, I've always wanted a white Christmas, but I'm not sure that we'll get one this year. But all of this chilliness, I think if it's going to be so cold and just, you know, gloomy, I want snow on the ground. I love how snow just brightens everything and makes it so nice. Oh, my messy hair's in the frame. Sorry about that. I overslept today. My little boy came and crawled in with me this morning around 5:30. And I usually get up at 5 to do a little Bible study and then read, just fun read. And he came in and snuggled and we both fell back asleep, and we fell asleep past when we were supposed to get up. And so it was a little bit of a mad dash. So yeah, hair up in a ponytail real quick, kids to school, and now finishing up those last crafts. But it was a nice morning because as the kids were exiting the vehicle, tomorrow's our last day of school before break, but I was handing them all of their teacher gifts, and that feels so good. After having those sit in my craft room and on my kitchen counter, oh my goodness, I'm like, go deliver, have fun. It's so nice to have that all done. Okay. All right, and another little snowflake lost a little arm, but that is gonna be okay. It's gonna be pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over so that you can actually see it the right way. Look how pretty that is. Again, I just loved how classic it looked. All right, so let me clean up all of my little scrap pieces really quickly. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place this on our canvas here. So I don't think I need to pre-press this. I'm not gonna worry about it. But what I'm going to do is I'll place this down just like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get an idea if that's centered. Oh, the natural wood with the navy, that is just my style. I love that. Okay, and that looks good enough. Now it doesn't need to be perfect because we're gonna be trimming down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this over to my heat press and I'm simply going to press that on. So let's go ahead and heat that on and we'll iron that onto this canvas piece. Okay, now this is going to be extremely hot when it comes off of your heat press or whatever heat source you're using. So just put it on a cool surface. It's instantly cold if you have a nice cold surface, just to draw that heat out real quick. And once it's cool, you can peel away the liner. And there is the design ironed right onto the canvas. Okay, so there's our design. Now, what we need to do is, I like to center where this is gonna go, and I like how that looks. And it doesn't have, you know, like a very, you could kind of do it like that. No, it's kind of supposed to kind of slant up. It takes on a rectangle look with all the stars and stuff, but it's supposed to look something like that. Okay, and that looks pretty centered to me. So I'm going to grab, in fact, I can just grab this, any type of pen or writing utensil, and I'm just going to score right around, trace really. My mind is already retired from the holidays. I'm done. Okay, there we go. And then what I'll do, so I'll remove this. Be careful that you don't write on your actual frame here. Then what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to cut on the line, but I'm going to cut inside the line. That way I have it a little bit smaller than my frame. So I'm going to cut inside the line so that it's smaller than the frame. Okay, and then it'll tuck in real nice. I'm also in the meantime going to turn on my hot glue, get that heated up. I have my scissors here, and I mean, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, roughly, maybe a little bit more, 1/8 of an inch inside that line. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, this is going to go on the outside or the back side of our canvas. Okay, move this down. And then because you centered it, then hopefully you can just center this on the back side of your frame, glue it down, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so then these pieces can be tossed. Here's our final one, and then our frame will go right on there. And see, now it doesn't peek out the sides. So what I'm thinking is that this should just tuck in and centered with, you know, an equal margin around the back. And I'm going to test to see, yep, that looks centered to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue on one side. Oop, I need more glue, hold on. So I'll add it on the first side. Okay. Place this down. Then I'm going to add it on the other side so I can pull really, really tight, okay? I like to do opposite ends that way, and I do it this way so I can pull it away from me. It just helps me get it really tight. Hopefully that's not going over the edge. I didn't really center that too well. Nope, it looks good. Okay, that way it's nice and tight, and then I can just go through, kind of poke the little nozzle in, and then do this side. Again, I like to personally pull away from my body, and you can kind of almost like rub it into position too, like pull, not rub, I guess, kind of pull with your fingers and tug. And then again, the opposite side. Right on this edge, my glue, and then there's a little bit of movement with that hot glue before it dries, so you can just kind of pull it. That way it's nice and taut. Okay, so that should be done. All right, then turn it on over, and there's your sign. Easy, easy, easy. I love it, and what a transformation. It went from just a canvas sign to a framed little sign, which is so pretty. You can also add some framing things. Now on the back, if you didn't want to do hot glue, you could do push pins as well. That's another option. There's a variety of things. You could staple it on the back. So there's no wrong answer. I feel like I've done all three. I just like the hot glue option because it's instant and easy. And actually, I think it's the quickest. So, all right, there is our pretty Christmas sign. I love the navy with the natural wood. All right, I've always wanted to do a sublimation puzzle, and I thought it would be a great time of year to do that. We are puzzle people. We're loving puzzling right now. So I'm going to open this up. I found this collection of sublimation puzzles at Michael's, but I know multiple craft stores have sublimation puzzles. I think, well, okay, Hobby Lobby had, I hauled them at one point. They had, gotta be careful here, little heart ones, which was so cute, but I wanted to do something a little bit bigger. Okay, so on the back side, it did have some directions as well. For the temperature, it says 356 degrees Fahrenheit, and then press for 80 seconds. Now, this is a good reminder. So if you're new to sublimation, sublimation is going to require you to have, let me make sure, is this all? Okay. Sublimation is going to require you to have a sublimation blank. So this puzzle is intended to sublimate on. So this isn't just a normal puzzle, okay? Just like if you were going to do a coffee cup, you need to make sure that you have a sublimation coffee cup. You also, with your design, I printed this design on my sublimation printer with sublimation ink, okay? And then this paper is also intended to sublimate, okay? So everything that I use down below, from my printer to the ink to the paper, I'll list everything so you know what I'm using. Now my printer did a little goober here, so I want to go ahead and trim that off. Actually, I don't even think that's gonna be on the puzzle, but I'm gonna still trim that off. That way, wherever there's ink, it's going to sublimate. So I wanna make sure that I don't do that. Now, I think I'm gonna keep this, let's take that off for sure. We don't want anything to melt. But I think I'll keep this underneath. Looks like it's just cardboard. That way my puzzle stays intact. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some butcher paper underneath my puzzle, because as you can see, my design is larger. Actually, it's kind of hard for you to see. Let me do it this way so you can get an idea. My design is larger than my puzzle, so I don't want my ink to sublimate onto my heat press. So I'm gonna put some butcher paper, a few layers underneath, and then I'll also sandwich it with a few on top. So 3 layers of butcher paper underneath, 2 to 3. Then my sublimation puzzle. Then I'm gonna do my design face down or ink side down on the puzzle. And then I'll do some butcher paper on top just to sandwich that in. And the butcher paper, again, is just to protect the heat press from getting any ink on it, because if I get ink on my heat press, it will transfer to other projects every time I heat. Okay, let's go ahead and get this done. I'm excited. The girls will love this little design. I thought this was super cute. Okay, how cute is that? Isn't that sweet? So I wanted to also show you, do you see where the ink went on the butcher paper? Now, wherever you have ink, you do need to throw that butcher paper away, because if you use this butcher paper on another project, then this ink will transfer over to your next project. But if your butcher paper doesn't have ink on it, then you can reuse that for another project that you do. But how sweet is that? It needs to kind of cool off. but very sweet, very vibrant, and it stays together really nicely as you're working on it. So I love that. Very fun. I love it too because you can, based on the design that you use, you can make it super simple or super complex. I like that my girls really love puzzling, so I like that we have some white space up here to do a little bit more complex. And I like that we have some other areas that are a little bit easier. So this is going to give you endless possibilities. If you have a picture of anything, you can put it on a puzzle. I do want to do a family picture. My mom did that for us a few years ago. She had a company do it where they put our family picture on a puzzle, and we bring it out every Christmas, and it's so fun to do. So I do want to do one of those as well, but I love how that turned out. Very sweet. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I need to make some more of these. I'm making these for my son's class as well as some friends that we are doing a Christmas party with this year. These are little candy cane holders, and the candy cane are the little reindeer antler, and these are so cute. So on this one, I did felt on the top, and then I did cork on the back. You can use any material. You can also use, I also did some that are faux leather as well. So I would stick with either felt, cork, or faux leather for this particular project because those are a little bit thicker and more sturdy. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make these. Now you can make these depending on the hoop size. We're gonna use my embroidery machine. Depending on the hoop size that you have, my largest is an 8x8 hoop. So I'm able to make 8 at a time, but I actually only need one more. Can you believe it? So I'm gonna make one for you. That way, it'll be nice and quick as well. Okay, so what I have here is I have some tearaway stabilizer. I also have a little piece of embroidery felt. You can use regular felt, that works as well. This is a Kimberbell embroidery felt, and it's the color gingerbread, which I love. And I'll link everything that I'm using so you know the stabilizer that I'm using and everything like that. Okay, so this is a tearaway stabilizer, as I said. Let me go ahead and grab my hoop so we can get this all hooped up, and then we'll go ahead and start stitching this out. All right, so I am going to go ahead and use my mighty hoop. Go ahead and use the bottom first. So I'm going to place the bottom down, and then I'm going to put my stabilizer, again, a tearaway stabilizer right here. And my stabilizer is barely big enough for this hoop, so I just do the best that I can. And if I need to rehoop, I will. Okay, and then this is going to make a very big snap sound, but I'm just going to magnetize this together. I do like to do it really fast, so it ensures that that stabilizer is nice and tight. Okay, and it did really good the first time. You kind of want it to be like a drum. That way you know it's tight enough. Okay, the first thing that's going to happen is I already have the design loaded on my embroidery machine. I'll link my embroidery machine for you. I'm going to go ahead and do the placement stitch. So the first thing that the machine is going to do is do a placement stitch. It's kind of like an outline of my little reindeer. And I'll keep this over here so you kind of know where we're going with this project. That way you can kind of see it all come together. So we'll do the placement stitch, and that's going to allow us to know where to put our felt piece. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the placement stitch is there. Now I have some embroidery tape. Actually, this is just medical tape that I got at Dollar Tree, so you can absolutely pick that up. It's super easy to use, or you can get actual embroidery tape. Okay, so now I just need a little piece, and luckily I have a tiny little piece left. I need to go ahead and place my material right over. So let me go ahead and grab some scissors here and get a piece. I do want it to be bigger though, because it'll help later when we cut it out. Actually, I'll do something like that. Okay, So this piece is big enough to fit over really well here. And what I like to do, whoops, oh goodness, I like to tape it down too, so that as the machine is stitching out, this isn't moving. Now, once it does its initial stitch, this won't move, but it's just easier to get it all placed down. So I'm going to tape that into place. Okay, now for the rest of this project, all I'm going to be doing is allowing the machine to stitch out. So what I'll do is I'm going to be over at my machine, and the only time I really need to interact with it is when I need to change a thread color. So let's go ahead and put some Christmas music on, and we will just watch this get all stitched out. And then the last step is going to be putting the back side on the other side once we get to that step in the process. So let's go ahead and start stitching. This is so relaxing to watch, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is where we are at so far. Isn't that cute? And again, this is where we're going. So now, before we do the final step, we need to turn the hoop around and we need to attach the back side. Okay, so we're going to attach this back side so that the candy canes slide through. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of felt. I don't know if this will be big enough. Nope, not quite. So I'll take this piece of felt, trim this down just a little bit. And I'm going to secure this on all four sides because this is going to hang upside down on my hoop. So I don't want any of the sides to drag or anything like that. Okay, so that. And that, and finally this side. Okay, now we're going to take this right on over. Again, now this is on the underside. I'm going to put our hoop back on so that when it does the final stitch, and the final stitch it's going to do is the perimeter here. So when it does that final stitch, it's going to stitch the front and the back together. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that stitch and connect, and then this will be all done. Okay, and now it's all done, and you can see it stitched the front and the back. Okay, so now I'm going to unhoop, and again, you can make these depending on your hoop size. You can make multiples of these at one time. So for example, this is what it looks like when you do 8 at a time, and I did a really neat faux leather for this set. So another example of how that turns out. And I just need to cut those out. All right, so now what I'm going to do is you can tear away the stabilizer or you can leave it on. It really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do here is I'll show you how to tear it away. It's exactly what it is, a tear away. So it just rips, and I just rip along the stitches on the inside. Okay. That's a little harder on other things when they're, you know, stacked together when you do multiple in a hoop. But honestly, you can or don't have to tear it away. Okay, so there is our little guy. I actually kind of like keeping the stabilizer in there though, because it kind of helps me have some structure to cut it out. And then I'm simply going to take some scissors, and I'm going to be careful. Don't get too close to your stitches or you will, you know, cut them and it will unravel. But I'm just going to go along the stitch line about 1/8 of an inch and trim this out. Okay, that's done. And things like faux leather too are really, really easy. Now the cork I was talking about that I did the back side of this one. Okay, so there's how that looked. The back side of this is an embroidery cork. So that's really fun to use as well. Okay, so now let me grab my candy canes. Grab a couple of these. And then just stick them right through. 1 and 2, and then you have your little antlers. Aren't those cute? Very fun. These are really good classroom gifts. Again, I'm making these for my son for his preschool class. They're really, really cute. Okay, then what I can do is I can start getting all of these trimmed out. All right, I do need to get some more candy canes, but I love how these turned out, and I love it's almost like a metallic faux leather. That's really fun. They make them really kind of magical and shiny too. So there's a variety again of things that you can use in materials and have fun with these. And then of course you can change up your thread color choices. I did kind of a hot pink for the nose and then more of a blush for the ears, but you can have fun with your thread color choices as well to make these really fun and unique. All right, I was able to finish up quite a few things just days before Christmas, and I'm very happy with it. I love the sweatshirts again. I wish I would have made one in my size, but next year for sure. And a reverse canvas is one of the easiest crafts you can do, and it is one of those transformations that is just so crazy fun because again, it started off as just a blank boring canvas and now it's such a pretty piece of art. Then we got all of our little candy cane reindeer done. This is a simple box. You can have fun with all of your patterns to make them very fun and unique. Have fun with what you put inside too, so you can see in the little peekaboo window. And then again, the sublimation puzzle. I don't think I forgot anything. Hopefully not. Nope, I think that's it. All right, I am wishing all of you a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope that your holiday is everything that you want it to be, and I can't wait to continue crafting with you in the new year. We have a lot of fun things coming up, and this has been such a fun season of crafting for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed each and every one. All right, everything will be linked down below in case you need any of the supplies or are curious about any of them, and I will see you all in the next video.